Welcome to the Pistons Pumpin'. Yeah, that's a great name, I think. Look at my sick flow. I've been playing enough hockey as of late to keep this going, and I haven't lost a game in 8 weeks, which is why I can't cut it. Those are the rules. So, here on Pistons Periodical Pumpin', the name is still, we're working on it, but it's good. I like it where it is. We're going to talk about the draft for the Pistons. And with the number one pick, they select Cade Cunningham out of Oklahoma State. The man is a monster. He is a absolute 15-year vet. All of a sudden, on your team, we're looking into year 2040, and Cade Cunningham could still be playing for us. Which would be interesting. I would assume we'd win a championship by them, hopefully. But he does a little bit of everything. He definitely makes everyone around him better, and you put him on a roster that already has a couple of spots that look good with Jeremy Grant. I can't imagine a situation where anyone gets worse. It's definitely going to get better. So, with that being said, let's move on to because there's been so much talked about Cade Cunningham already. I think we definitely know they made the right decision going and getting him. I know there were some ideas that they could have traded it to Houston and still gotten Jalen Suggs or someone else. And no, this is the guy. You build around this man for the next decade minimum. He is the man. The next selection at number 42 is Isaiah Livers. They picked him out of the University of Michigan. Great guy. Watched him play a lot last season because I did watch a lot of U of M basketball. Because my team stinks, DePaul. So it's fun to at least know that where I grew up, there's a team worth watching. He's a great D and 3 guy. Or 3 and D guy. I don't know which 3 and D and 3. Does it depend on what you're better at, I guess? I would say that he's a 3 and D guy because he definitely hits the 3. 43% from 3 range. That's pretty impressive. Do you think Isaiah Livers will be on the team next year? You're going to ask. And I would say no. I assume he is a bench at best player right now, and we'll see time on the G League team. The Motor City Cruise, I believe they're called. Don't know. Haven't watched a game of them. Now, an interesting selection, 10 selections later, is number 52, Luka Garza, Player of the Year. Now, this is important because I've seen online a few people say, Player of the Year, that's garbage. Well, the last Player of the Year to not be currently playing in the NBA would be one James Taft Fredette, Jimmer Fredette. Now, should he have been Player of the Year for the college basketball year? Yeah, sure, why not? Who cares? Does it not necessarily matter? No, it doesn't. But generally speaking, if you go back to everyone the last 7 or 8 years, they're still in the league, they're still playing, they're still contributing, and some are just getting better. Even the guys who came in second place. The year that Trey Burke came in first for the voting, Oladipo was second. And we all know Victor Oladipo is still a good player. But what do you get with Luka Garza? He's a giant man, and he's a great shot blocker, great rebounder. I think he's got the same kind of upside as Isaiah Livers, but maybe it's sooner. He might be ready to jump into the league sooner and fill in a spot and just be ready to go, ready to ball. And he can at least get you on a team where you don't necessarily have the greatest center right now. You have someone that you can rely on, but you definitely need someone who needs to spell minutes. Luka Garza should be able to do that within a year, if not next year. So I would assume that maybe not next year, but the year following, he's on the team, he's ready to go. And then with our 4th selection, another large man, 7-foot tall Serbian, Balsa Koprivica. Good guy, great pronunciation. Played in Florida State, which is a defensive powerhouse. I love Watching Florida State play every year during the tournament because they try to suffocate teams. It never works against U of M because of whatever. University of Michigan runs into Florida State, it feels like, every year in the Sweet 16 and eliminates them, which is unfortunate for Florida State, but good for U of M. That being said, like I said, it's a very defensive-minded school. He's a 7-foot guy. If second round, that late in the draft, you get somebody who's big, tall, and you hope he can play minutes for you down the road. Right now, he's a work in progress. You don't know what he can do other than be tall. That's what I know about him. I watched his highlight reel. He makes a lot of garbage, hey, you missed the shot? I'm coming in for the backup. I got this. Do you want that so much in the NBA? Sure, there's always someone who needs to be there to clean up, but is that the style of play that we're playing right now in the NBA? And the answer is not really. It never hurts to have a 7-footer on the bench, ready to go to play some defense, though. I don't think that there's ever going to be a situation where you're going to go, I don't want a super tall dude who's athletic. So, those are your 4 selections this year for the Pistons. I think overall this is really good. I mean, you got a slam dunk Cade Cunningham. Bam, that man plays. You've got your very much like 6th guy, first off the bench, 3 and D, Isaiah Livers, great pedigree. You've got a sneaky, interesting pick with Luka Garza that could be the steal of the draft later on. Who knows? You never really know with a guy like that, but he certainly was a point machine at Iowa. And I can't imagine he's going to stop being able to score just because he's moving the NBA. And then you got a project in Balsa. So you hope that for the best with him. But yeah, I think when it comes to NBA drafts, it's hard to be upset about what you picked here, especially because everything after Cade is just bonus. So with that, I will bid you adieu, and we will start talking a little bit about the end of the season for the Tigers, where I think they're heading. Some interesting stuff that Chris Ilitch said about the Tigers, and looking into the hot stove for the winter that baseball does so poorly. Everything that baseball does, they do so poorly. Like, they could be trying at least. It feels like the NHL tries to promote their stuff. It feels like baseball is actively trying to hide their information from people with no fanfare at all. So that's something to talk about. But I do appreciate you stopping by and giving the look. We are unofficially sponsored by the app called List. That's List times 2, List. Check it out. Download it. Make a list.